Have you ever tried like any of those scary games in VR?
Oh,
Congratulations! This game's winner is...
Welcome to GameChat, a podcast focused on eSports and all things game-related. Each episode, we interview an exciting guest from the world of gaming, from up-and-coming streamers to YouTube celebrity gamers. We learn and share together with our audience. So go ahead and jump in on this GameChat. Now, here's your host, Daniel Scott and Lance Jefferson.
All right, hey, good morning, Gamer Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Game Chat with your host, Daniel Scott.
And Lance Jefferson.
In today's episode, we have an awesome guest that goes by the name of Miss Chezza. Welcome to the podcast, Miss Chezza.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. So for the audience out there, could you give them a little introduction about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Miss Chezza. That is my cosplay name and my gamer tag. I am a published cosplayer. I've been cosplaying for about 4 or 5 years now. But I started streaming on Twitch earlier this year, and I stream a variety of games, mainly adventure, RPG-style games. So yeah, that is why I'm here.
You've been leveraging your social media, I see, and as well as your streaming. Could you give the audience some insights into like how you use social media to help grow your channel in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, definitely. Social media in this day and age, especially when you're trying to grow a brand, is of the utmost importance. So I built up a fairly decently sized community through cosplay. So I started, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago, and it grew from there. So I'm probably, if I mix in Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, at around a 35,000 mark for in terms of like the size of the community. Obviously, this is a big
phenomenal.
awesome.
Yeah,
it's
a year.
really well.
Yeah, that's definitely to be applauded.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very important to use social media, especially with streaming too. So I found that because I put a lot of effort into 3 of them. Some people choose one. They'll choose Instagram, especially for cosplay. Instagram is probably your best bet because you're making costumes, you're taking pictures. It's a very visual thing. But I also love Twitter, so I spent a lot of time building that out as well. And I found that when I started streaming, Twitter was the go-to. So a lot of streamers are on Twitter. A lot of people who watch Twitch are on, and Mixer are on Twitter. And it's a good way to kind of connect with other streamers and also promote your stream. So I strongly recommend that if you haven't done it before.
Yeah, it's very important to know the platforms and where your audience is. So that's awesome that you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. You usually sign up for a lot of random social media accounts that you end up never using, like Vero didn't go anywhere, but you can give it a shot and then see what works best for you.
Exactly, you don't know what you'll get unless you take that chance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's such an important point too when it comes to marketing in the digital age. Like you said, you have Vero, you have Vine, even like as many platforms as you can get on and produce content for your audience. Definitely, you should do it. And if it's around today, great. If it's not around tomorrow, then you still gain skills and you still gain whatever for you had at that time. Like Vine, for example, which was super big, which is now dead. But people like several people like Paul Logan blew up off the Vine platform.
Yeah, a lot of people got launched off Vine. Amanda Cerny was one of my favorite Vine stars. And I think she's got several million followers on Instagram now. She's doing ad campaigns for Guess. And it's amazing. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me because, I mean, I have a little bit of an advantage over others because I worked for an advertising agency myself. I was doing social media content management, and so
you get to see
you learn the importance of it in marketing. And obviously with streaming, just like anything else, you want to get your name out there. It's as much marketing yourself as it is putting effort into the performance of streaming. Since I finished school, I've been involved in some form of marketing or advertising or another. I primarily, like in my day job, I'm a writer and editor, communications professional.
Okay, awesome.
So I've been doing that for about six years now.
Where you translated and use the skills for yourself is phenomenal.
Hey, you got skills. You might as well use them.
For sure.
Would you say that led the way in regards to how you got started with regards to your streaming, or what influenced you to actually make that step forward?
Yeah, to step in front of the camera and say, let me do it.
Right. Well, I've done a number of different things in my career, and I like to have side hobbies and jobs and projects always. So in the past, I have, even though I am a writer and editor, I have done some hosting for local television food segments. So I've been in front of the camera before. I've been behind the camera, writing scripts, writing all of the content, doing the marketing for it. So when I decided to start streaming, it was because I had been a fan of Twitch for years. It actually helped me get through a tough time in my life, which was really nice. And I had been watching a lot of streamers. I've always been a gamer ever since I was a kid. And I figured, hey, I have experience like on camera. Should I try and give it a shot? It's very different from online broadcast, just broadcast experience, because you generally go in with a script and you know what you're going to say. Whereas streaming, you really got to fly by the seat of your pants. But I saw other people doing it. I wanted to give it a shot. And I mean, it's still growing. It's still a new thing for me. But I found that my past experience has definitely lent itself very much to how I go about streaming and how I portray myself in the streams and how I market it as well. So it wasn't the reason why I started streaming, but it definitely helped. Having all of those elements is definitely important. And I didn't monetize it until I was a few years in. I know a lot of people will start cosplaying or start streaming because they think, hey, I'm going to be the next ninja. And the chances of that are always going to be against you, unfortunately. But at some point, you do get to a certain point with the community where they want more. They want to kind of take things home with them and have prints and things like that. So that's been really good. It's not my main source of income. Like I said, I work full time, and this is a side thing for me. But people seem to really like having that value add. So definitely, I have friends who have turned streaming into a full time job, and they're amazing at it, and they work very hard at it. It's not just you sit down in front of a camera, you play a game, people are going to flock to you. You really need to put yourself out there, because if no one knows you're there, they're not going to be able to watch you.
Absolutely. Yeah, like our friend Trevor T. Martin, like he says like there's times like 12, 14 hours for the day. He just in his office is recording all day, and then he has to do all the editing and stuff like that too.
A YouTube streamer?
Yeah.
YouTube is so much more difficult than Twitch. So Twitch is great for the new streamer, for sure, because you can jump on fairly easily. If you have a console and a Kinect, or if you just have a cheap video cam on your PC, you can jump on pretty easy. YouTube videos take a lot more commitment to make, because you're editing hours and hours of content, and you're trying to find the best product to put out, the best content to put out. So I have nothing but respect for YouTube video creators, because they're amazing.
Do you have any memorable experiences
with streaming?
Yeah. Since you started?
One of them was probably the other week. So I started streaming BioShock Infinite on my Patreon. So my Patreon is like, you mentioned it earlier, this monthly subscription service where people can get prints, and top tiers will get private live streams and things like that. So I started streaming BioShock Infinite on Patreon, and then I took a break from Patreon, so I kept streaming it on Twitch. And I'm really bad with anything remotely scary. Anything that will pop out at you, I'm really bad. This is why I don't usually play FPS games on Twitch, or just in general, actually. But BioShock Infinite is beautiful. It's actually one of the most amazing games I've ever played, and the storyline was worth it. So I gave it a shot, even though I'd been told there was a jump scare near the end, which isn't even like that much of a jump scare, but for me, oh my goodness. So when I did that stream, that was the second last stream of the game, and I had to keep taking breaks. Every 5 minutes, I'm like, it's a scary insane asylum, house. Let me just take a few minutes, you guys. Like, everyone was amazing. That was probably one of the highest viewer counts I've ever had. People like watching people get scared on Twitch. They really do. And when the jump scare happened, I gave a little shriek, and that's the only time I've ever really like screamed on stream. So that one I'll always remember, because I pushed through it, and I knew I had to finish, because people were expecting me to finish, and they were there because they've been watching the whole time, and I owed it to them. So I'll never play another scary game, and I'll make someone else do those parts from now on. But it was definitely memorable. I'll always remember it.
Have you ever tried like any of those scary games in VR?
Oh, I actually went to a VR night at my friend's place last weekend, I think it was, and I tried the Rick and Morty game, which was amazing, by the way. You can see my little Morty over there.
Yeah, it's nice. I love Rick and Morty.
It was really cool, and I've only ever tested VR before. I've never played a game, so it was really fun. We played one called Accounting as well, which is by the creators of Rick and Morty. So they're really cool, fun, quick games in VR. And then my friend tried out Don't Knock Twice, which is one of the horror games. To be fair, he only played it for about 10-15 minutes, so it didn't get super scary, but I was sitting on the couch watching him play it on the screen, and I was scared. I couldn't even watch it. So no, I will never play horror games on VR.
If you're so realistic,
yeah, no, it is, because even in the Rick and Morty, I'd go to lean on the desk. There's no desk there.
Exactly.
And it's cartoon, so I love VR. It's really cool. They're gonna go a long way with it because I know it's still in its infancy right now.
For sure.
But I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right, Gamer Nation, we're gonna jump to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're gonna play SNES with Miss Chezza. Don't go nowhere.
Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Game Chat Podcast, brought to you by Gamers Bay, with your host, Daniel Scott and Lance Jefferson.
Welcome back, Gamer Nation. If you're just tuning in, it's your host, Daniel Scott and Lance Jefferson. In today's podcast, we have Miss Chezza. She's a cosplayer, a gamer streamer. Make sure to rewind back the podcast if you're just tuning in now. But right now, we're going to jump into an SNES gameplay. It's going to be a new mode today because our bandwidth is a little slow, so it's going to be in slow mo. So we're going to call it like a Matrix SNES Street Fighter 2 combo thing. So we're going to see how this is going to go. Stay tuned.
It's a bit laggy, so you might completely destroy me.
I see the little laggy on mine too.
I don't.
Ooh.
That's true.
Oh yeah, it's already started.
Slow motion. This is Matrix.
Yeah, slow motion Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Matrix style.
This is looking like a perfect. Ooh. I finally got one.
Come at me.
See which one. We got a high kick.
Ooh.
This is so hard. It's so slow.
All right. Come on. Oh no.
It's like you can see it coming. You can see the attack coming.
And you still can't block.
Oh my.
Oh no. Is this gonna be the first victory for Daniel?
The slow motion.
Is it this slow for you?
Yeah, it is super slow.
I think,
shit.
I think because my video card on the Mac is limited compared to the desktop.
Uh-oh.
Fire kicks.
Those fire kicks, though.
I know, right?
Got it. Like a little shot.
Oh, damn you. No!
Oh.
I have a sliver of life left. Get out of here.
Keep pretty good.
Oh,
there I am.
Slow motion. I think we will get one game in slow motion.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That was painful to watch.
Yeah, it's painful to play.
Yeah. Normally,
I swear, when it's normal speed, I am much better at it.
Yeah, same here.
I'm thinking of my new schedule now that we've finished Bioshock Infinite. So I'm hoping to play Fable 2, which is one of my favorite games.
Awesome.
So we'll see. I'll have to stream it from the Xbox app onto my PC. So we'll see how that works. I don't know. It might be leggy.
It can't be no worse than what we have here.
No, it can't. It will not be that bad.
Have you played like Black Ops 4 or have you tried Any of those games? Or you don't like that
I played Call of Duty back in the day. So I actually played Call of Duty 2 on PC when it came out.
Okay.
I'm not to date myself or anything, but yeah, I'm a bit older. And then I played some World at War online, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not good with FPS, and I'm even worse when it comes to a controller. I can't aim worth shit, so I did play a bit of that, yeah.
Just for reference, he grew up playing Atari.
Sorry?
He grew up playing Atari.
Oh.
So don't feel
Amiga Commodore.
Oh, for real? You're the first person that I spoke with that actually had a Commodore.
Oh, yeah, my dad, I was quite young, but my dad is a gamer. That's how I got into it.
Awesome.
So we always had, the top of the line computer of the day. So that's when I started. I started with PC, and then I moved on to console as well.
So you were rocking it back in the day with, the Pentium 2, 128 megabyte.
Oh, I know. The original Sims, and it was just so laggy. Yeah, no, I didn't really get into consoles until probably the early 2000s. Because, I say this now because I probably didn't know, but my dad was a huge gamer, but it was always PCs, and we were in England at the time, because that's where I'm from originally, even though I don't sound like it. And I just didn't have any friends who had consoles. I didn't even know they existed until I came to Canada. So.
Oh, yeah. Do you by chance have a British passport?
Yeah, I have dual citizenship.
Oh yeah, awesome. So Cayman is a British overseas territory, so with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with that passport,
I can just
gives
come
you some
right
benefits. Yeah, exactly.
And I can stay.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that brings us to the end of our podcast now. Miss Chezza, Cheryl, thank you so much for being a guest on today's podcast. Yeah, we had an awesome time with you. We're looking forward to have you back on in the future. We talked about some awesome things. Less than a year, phenomenal growth for your community. Phenomenal skills.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Yeah. We can only imagine another year from now where you'll be. Yeah. Before we do go, is there anything you'd like to leave with the audience?
Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been such a pleasure. It's been great talking to you guys about gaming and streaming and cosplay, and having a super slow-mo version of Street Fighter too.
Thanks for giving Daniel a win.
Yeah, I totally gave him the win. That was what happened. If anyone wants to check out my stuff, I'm on Twitch at Miss_Chezza, and you can go to misschezza.com. It's 2 Z's. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much.
Well. Absolutely. Make sure to check the description, guys. You'll have all the links in there. Until next time, guys, this has been Daniel Lance from Gamers Bay. Stay cool. Peace out.
Congratulations! This game's winner is...
Thanks for joining us this week on GameChat. Make sure to visit our website, gamersbaycayman.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. We also have cool merchandise and tickets for next year's event. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us too. You can also find us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. See you all on next week's episode of GameChat.